Well, it's Sunday night. It's almost 9 o'clock here on the East Coast. And let's talk New Japan, shall we?
It's almost 9 o'clock.
And of course, I'm stupid and forgot to mute this computer when we started. I don't have any words at this point, especially after what we watched last night. I can finally say I told you so. It's about time. We've got a new faction, and we have, as far as I know, no more updates on Hiromu Takahashi. I haven't heard anything lately.
Let me see if there's any update on update from Dave from the daily update. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, the latest news from Dave is there isn't much of an update other than that he's still in the hospital. He was still in the hospital this morning.
Right. We'll get to that later. Don't worry.
But Dave mentioned how it's very similar to what happened between San Martino and Stan Hansen back in '76.
Oh no.
Should we get to the other thing that isn't New Japan? Because it sort of overtook everything.
It's kind of a big deal. I mean, I don't really. Obviously, it's something that people are talking about right now, and that's the fact that we had a wild Lesnar sighting at the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
And a wrestling style promo on Daniel Cormier after he won the championship.
So yeah, Daniel Cormier won in about 4.5 minutes, in somewhat of a surprise. And then, well, we saw Lesnar show up like before this match started. And the rumor was, at least from one of, I think it's Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful, said that his source said that he's been in the pool already, and the aim was to try and get it for the Madison Square Garden show in November.
Right.
However, through Dave's sources in USADA, because obviously he covers MMA a lot more than Fightful does, even though it still covers it to some extent. Brock wasn't in the UFC drug testing pool as of this past week, so he has joined it this week, basically. Which in theory means, because of the 6-month window that you'd need, he wouldn't be ready to go until January, late January, early February.
Yep.
At the earliest for UFC pay-per-views or whatever. Which to me gives more of a signal that Brock's dropping the title at least by Survivor Series.
I think at this point what we're probably leading towards is, as much as I hate to say it, Roman and Brock, and then Braun comes in and make it a 3-way at SummerSlam and wins the title clean.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looks like we're building towards.
I hope not.
I don't want that, but that's what looks like we're building towards.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is, I mean, can you ask me why Brock Lesnar cuts a more believable promo at UFC than he does in the WWE?
Because he could say motherfucker.
Yeah, he can.
I love the bloody edit that I like Jason, who I think is the king of like the short wrestling sort of Botchamania style clips.
Mm-hmm.
Got Brock Lesnar because of the whole, I'm coming for that belt, motherfucker. They just dubbed over it, Booker T, Harlem Heat, Hulk Hogan, we're coming for you. And
wow.
they dubbed that over the top of it. It's just like top notch. just in general, just generally top notch. But yeah, the other thing to talk about from that UFC thing was the co-main, which had a lot of hype going around it. Even going as far as Jay Lethal pushing down. Hang on. Let's get the notes up. I think it was Francis Ngannou versus. Really? UFC news, please. Somebody? Anybody? Why can't I find the UFC card?
All right. Your guess is as good as mine.
I know, it's just. Thanks, Dave. Your website's making it confusing. Good job. It's not TV and pay-per-view reports.
El Jefe wants to know, is England your city?
Fuck off. Fuck off. I know he isn't involved with that cunt Jake Paul, but just for saying that. And the fact is, then on the Christmas bloody song, he changed it to London is my country. So he's legit being a cunt to be a cunt.
Oh, wow.
That's too cuntish. Right. Managed to find it. So, yeah, so it's Francis Ngannou, number 1 contender, versus the number 5 contender, Derek Lewis, for the heavyweight division. This is a big fight. They were shoving each other, when they were doing the ceremonial weigh-ins on Friday. How many punches do you think were thrown in the fight?
In the fight?
Yeah.
30.
Remember, 3 5-minute rounds. 33.
30. I didn't even watch the thing.
33. It was so fucking terrible. It was that fucking terrible when they normally do, the interviews afterwards in the octagon with both fighters. They basically literally said to them, fuck off. We don't want you in here. You just disrespected the sport of MMA. So I have no clue whether either of those men have a future. Especially Francis Ngannou, who, although apparently he's lost 2 matches now on the bounce, somehow he's still the number 1 contender in that division. Which I don't fucking get. But either way, Cormier becoming the 2nd ever 2-weight champion after Conor. And as they were noting on MMA Fighting, this time last year, Cormier was crying because of John Jones beating him. And then John Jones failed the drug test, which means DC got the belt. And basically, DC is fighting Lesnar at some point. I'm guessing between now and, let's say, maybe January, February.
Probably.
I've got a feeling they're going to try and make it late January.
That's what I'm hearing.
He's going to probably defend the light heavyweight title against somebody. The most likely candidate is Gustafsson. So we'll have to see with that. Because he's always said he's retiring on his 40th birthday, which is like late March or sometime in April. I'm not sure. So what I've got a feeling he might be trying to do is having a fight sort of October, November-ish. Probably at the Garden because it's going to draw now. Because you got a big name like Cormier. Then January, February-ish, whatever. And then April, May, depending on if they can keep him around for like a month or something, that can be his retirement fight against, whoever it is. Because it looks like he's going for money now rather than actually fights. Which, in the position that he is, obviously, being 2-belt champion at the same time, and he seems to be much more of a role model than Connor or John Jones have ever been, and whatever. Good on him. But yeah, that sort of happened in around the same time at quite a lot of this New Japan stuff as well. One thing to worth note though, the Taylor Hendricks stuff has got complicated. Because of wherever Taylor Hendricks was wrestling, I think it was San Antonio. I'm not sure what promotion though. They were chanting Jay Lethal and ROH at her, and worse, admittedly. She said that she basically, she made the claims about Lethal. Mm-hmm. ROH stated yesterday that she quit the promotion, was still being booked when she quit. Lethal also said there's nothing to the story and don't use my words to attack me or my accuser. There's already too much hate going around in this world, so let's not add to it. She's certainly saying that, she doubt. I think it was like we try and be helpful and respectful. And she's basically claiming some of the sort of big officials in Ring of Honor were also behind sort of trying to get her to supposedly sleep with Jay or something. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Because, to be honest, I don't want to ultimately jump on it, considering what now has come out about Enzo Amore. It looks as if WWE fired him, probably because they just wanted rid of him.
Well, I mean, he was the problem.
Yes, but as it turned, because people thought it was, oh, wow, well, we were not made aware of the allegations until way after the fact. It's now come out through, like, the police investigation going public. Enzo didn't find out about these allegations until he was pulled in and reported.
Wow.
Which was literally when or in or around WWE fired him. So he found out pretty much at exactly the same time as us.
We have some... yeah, well, I mean, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. We have some UFC questions from the chat and comments.
Good.
Welcome, Hyro. Francis versus Lewis sucked, but I hear Derek's back was hurting. Hyro.
Yeah, but if he was hurting, why the fuck did you fight?
Yeah, money.
It's like, well, true, money, but if that means you don't wrestle again, or so if you don't fight again, because something happens and it gets worse and it becomes career threatening, when if you healed for like 2 or 3 months and then could actually have 5 or 6 fights rather than 1 fight,
right?
That I'd say is probably the bigger consideration. Hell, we talked about. No, I don't think we talked. Did we talk about the Max Holloway thing?
We're getting to that. Actually, it's a question in chat.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I'll get to that. So let's see. Pyro jumps into your defense, says at El Jefe, at least his color is popping. Pyro says if DC were to lose, could his friend Cain Velasquez fight Lesnar again?
I need to have a quick look. I don't know whether it's Velasquez or Dos Santos that is fighting next week. It's Dos Santos. Let me have a look. I'm Wikipediaing Cain Velasquez. I'm trying to see when his next match might be. Cain Velasquez hasn't fought in 2 years.
Wow.
His last fight was UFC 200. I know he's been injured and whatever because the rematch was supposed to be back at the end of 16, but yeah, the last word is the end of 2016 when the Nevada State Athletic Commission failed to approve him to fight after physical exams and interviews that he was unfit to compete due to bone spurs on his back. That sounds like something that could be career-ending, maybe, depending on the severity. But the fact that we haven't heard anything from him in a year and a half, he's gone off the grid as much. Dos Santos might be a better consideration, especially considering, as I say, he's fighting next week in Boise, Idaho, for the UFC Fight Night show that they've got going on there. So I don't know.
One Triple S is inquiring if a couple things actually. Agrees. Ash likes how Bisping fought after 2 weeks against GSP, lost, and he still lasted. It's dumb that Dana would make Edgar versus Stefan for interim belt after Ortega turned it down.
I wasn't a fan of Bisping coming in on that short notice. I will be. If you go back, I wasn't really happy with that. Then again, it was sort of he was gonna take the money, and if he felt up to it, because admittedly, like the last fight he was in was a relatively short one, whereas at least with, hang on, let's have a look. Derek Lewis, when did he last fight before last night? February. So then I need to look to Bisping.
Ashley, you on chat at all?
Not at the minute.
I'm trying to keep track of things. Okay, I get that. So,
yeah,
was it Blades or Blades? Is that now the number one contender, or says one Triple S?
God damn it, I heard myself twice. Let's have a quick look with Bisping. So I'm having a quick.
Welcome, Ace, to the chat.
Quickly trying to research on that stuff. Well, I mean, yeah, he lost to GSP in the third round and then lost to Kevin Gastelum 3 weeks later. I wasn't happy, to be honest, with that happening. Because it's like, and obviously, that's sort of the fight that ended Bisping's career, especially because after he saw that film Journeyman and whatever, it put his sort of to his mind to rest in terms of, if I fight again and I get seriously injured, it's going to affect sort of my big well-being. The big thing of that course of though is it was supposed to be Anderson Silva versus Gastelum, but Anderson Silva decided to, for the 15,000th time, fail a drugs test. So that's why Bisping stepped in that short notice, which he really shouldn't have done. But then, if that hadn't have happened, there would literally be no interesting main event for that card. Which, considering it was like the first show that they had done in mainland China, they wanted a big match to headline that card.
Makes sense.
And I guess they were just grasping at straws. I'm hoping he got a shit ton of money for it, considering, now he's retired, but, he seems to be doing a very good job in terms of the analyst stuff that he's doing for, Fox, and probably just with the UFC, he'll continue on to ESPN. With Ariel Helwani now, which, them together is just going to be sweet. But yeah.
When will Holloway and Ortega happen?
I'm not sure. Hopefully soon. It seems like it should be. Hopefully within the next few months. It depends whether they need to schedule it. Let me have a 2018 in UFC. If that's even a thing. I need to have a quick look. That's it. List of UFC events just to have a see of what's upcoming. I mean, UFC 228 is open possibly in September, maybe. If they want it to be in Vegas, you've got the October show. Don't think they would put it for 230. I'd have thought, but I'd have thought sooner rather than later, if we can.
And everyone, we're trying to keep up on chat. It's kind of difficult to do when it goes by so fast, but I'm doing what we can. We're doing what we can. Acer says apparently UFC 226 co-main event between Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou.
Ngannou.
Again, I don't watch mixed martial arts. My apologies. Was apparently the worst heavyweight fight in history, according to what he's read from critics and fans there.
Yes, in all honesty, it was just like it's the equivalent of like a boxing match in which there's only like 5 punches around. It'd be the equivalent of, even though Owen hasn't seen it, he knows of the match. But that fucking match from the anniversary show from CMLL with the old fucks,
the
Six Man, which was
I know
just a mess.
Yeah,
it was sort of that equivalent style. It was just like, and especially one, it's on the pay-per-view. 2, it's on a Vegas pay-per-view, and 3, it's when International Fight Week's there, which is like their version of WrestleMania. What a great highlight for the heavyweight division that match wasn't.
Okay. Anthony Showtime Pettis is back. That was a good finish against Chisia.
Yeah, it's good to see him back. I would have loved to have seen him fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, because I can never pronounce that name. After that whole cock up with Max Holloway and the whole, I know it was Max Holloway, but the whole weight issue. No, I can't even remember who it was that failed to make weight in that thing. You guys will tell me. You'll be more in the know, but Pettis was supposed to be in consideration, and then the commission just went, no, you can't do it. So more and more of this, and remember, this is, I think Pettis is the guy that beat Anderson Silva, from what I remember. Let's have a quick look. I'm getting confused, the wrong one.
Why you're getting this? I have another comment from El Jefe. No, I really think this is to Hyro. I really think he would have done that when they were supposed to fight 223, but it's done what Connor did with the Dolly.
Yeah, in all honesty, Connor was Connor. Of course he was.
See what else we got here. You're very welcome for the welcome, Acer. Not a problem. Will we see more super fights in the UFC in the near future?
Considering how well it did for McGregor, whatever his name is, Aldo, and did well, and considering how well it did here, the women have already been saying, like Cyborg and all that, and Holly Holm, they want a move in the divisions themselves to challenge for another women's belt.
Interesting.
So there's enough there to possibly, this might now become a thing in order to get the viewership back, which probably ESPN will want, and Fox will be going, please no. But of course, it's nothing to do with them because they're just the broadcaster. More and more of these super fights will mean more interest.
Makes sense.
This is UFC trying to do a McGregor Mayweather style thing, except not be like, different worlds collide. It's just like different weights collide.
Yeah,
I guess. Even though to some extent there ain't that much in it, because obviously Cormier was in the light heavyweight division, which is only sort of the division down. It probably just meant he didn't need to cut weight as much.
True.
More likely. So he would sort of be in the advantage anyway.
So let's see what else we got here. One Triple S wants
the other thing to note as well, Miocic's wife is giving birth like any day. And he was willing to still take this fight when in other cases people have said, look, can I step out the fight because I want to be there for, if my kid gets born?
Mm-hmm.
So full credit to Miocic for that as well.
One Triple S wants to see Lesnar and Lashley, but doesn't know if it would be that big of a draw.
Considering how not that great Lashley was in Bellator, I'd say no, in all honesty.
Yes, Hyro. I'm very, very happy to say I was right about Juice Robinson. We'll talk about that later. Hyro says it's funny that Josh Barnett looks like he's getting ready to fight Jay White.
I still don't know whether that was a shoot or not.
Could have been.
Considering of all the swearing.
It very well could have been. Hyro says NJPW show in September.
Yeah. Well, we've got the main one. The main one is end of September, but then there's also 2 Lionsgate style shows.
Right.
In November. I don't know whether that's the Lionsgate Japan or whether it's the Lionsgate dojo that Shibata's working at in America, or both. Hopefully, Jason Rance is a part of neither.
Dear God. No, we're not talking about that. Hyro says Max Holloway missed weight.
We didn't really miss weight. He was more like he couldn't cut weight because he fucking collapsed and went to hospital, probably with like severe kidney failure. So it's less of like it's like less of missing weight and more like nearly dying.
Yeah, there's a difference between that.
I noticed Chiesa saying that Chiesa missed weight by 1.5 pounds. But no, it was I was getting Pettis confused with the guy that broke Anderson Silva's leg in that bit that they never showed again because he broke the fucker's leg. I can't even remember who that was off the top of my head. Cormier actually got 500,000 anyway.
Wow.
Without any win bonus, but Miocic got 750,000. The key thing is though, both men also get a proportion of the pay-per-view buy as well. That's worked into their contract. So, although I am amazed that Francis Ngannou got paid $100,000 for that fight. Dear fucking God.
And somehow, some way, we've turned this into UFC. Yeah, man, I thought this was a wrestling podcast, says One Triple S. Damn, it's good. I think Ashley knows MMA too. Yeah, he definitely does.
A little bit. I try and dip in here and there, mainly for the big ones, especially when I got wind like right before the New Japan show with basically saying, sources say Brock Lesnar's hiding somewhere in the building tonight and he's going to show up at some point. And it's like, well, this is going to have an impact on WWE in some shape or form. Speaking of, the Ronda Rousey inauguration actually went pretty well. And nice and all that. That's all I can say, really, because she literally got on a plane so she could fly to Philadelphia to do the house show.
So apparently Holloway had concussion-like symptoms and was off the card as a result. Originally scheduled a UFC featherweight championship bout against Brian Ortega. Combat Sports Popcast for the win, says Acer.
Well, don't get your hopes up.
I'm definitely not going to be able to talk on that show.
Only if Brock Lesnar was fighting. Then he might be watching.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm just looking to see if there's even anything happening in Bellator. Bellator next week is having a show in Oklahoma and then the show the day after in Rome, Italy. Please tell me that bloody Moro is going to be at least the Italy one, because then when he goes Mamma Mia, it'll make so much sense.
Oh, wow. Here we go again.
But the next big one will be, by the looks of it, Jagad Mousasi and Rory McDonald, the welterweight champion challenging the middleweight champion. You see, if Bellator's doing super fights, everybody's fucking doing super fights.
Sounds like it.
That's at the end of September. Also, they're getting Wanderlei Silva versus Quentin Rampage Jackson for part 4. That's been going on for nearly 20 years, that feud.
The one Triple S wants to know if it's possible for Miesha Tate to show up and fight Ronda Rousey in the WWE.
If Miesha wanted to. I don't think WWE would go no. Then again, I still believe something is happening with the 4 Horsewomen and the 4 Horsewomen at somewhere down this road. I don't know how they can do it now, though, because of the whole Bailey Sasha fucking terrible shit.
They're ruining any chance they have of making that feud relevant before it even happens.
But we know the other 2 of the 4 Horsewomen are in training at the minute in NXT.
Right.
You know, in Orlando and whatever, the Performance Center. Obviously, Shayna and Ronda have got a bit of an advantage. Ever slightly. But yeah, that's the...
It's our UFC news for the night here.
Probably. There'll be more. No worries. Gonna have a quick look, see if I can see the next. If I can find it. The next big Fox show for anybody to watch from Calgary, Alberta, Canada is going to be at the end of the month. And the next pay-per-view is Dillashaw and Garbrandt in a rematch of the bantamweight stuff. And also Demetrius Johnson defending the flyweight title. And Gustafsson versus Volkan Ozdemir. I know that's light heavyweight, but that I can tell you that's probably going to decide who Cormier's facing, I think, in October, November-ish. At Madison Square Garden, because I think either one of them 2 is going to be a crazy fucking opponent for Cormier. Then, of course, if the Brock Lesnar thing fails and he fails a drugs test or something, you can just have them face each other again, but for like a different belt or something. It's like, yeah, you win both belts off the one guy. That isn't fair at all, but fuck it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But that'll be happening. And then there's UFC 228 at the start of September. And the last one of the year apparently is now officially December 29th. So I know sometimes it's been like January 2nd or whatever, but they are doing it beforehand just because of where it falls in terms of the new year being after Saturday and all that.
One Triple S says, fun fact, Eve Torres' husband trained Brian Ortega.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Dominic Cruz should challenge whoever wins TJ or Cody since he never got his rematch.
That's certainly a fair consideration as well. You know, it's not like he went out in a hissy fit. He actually went out respectfully, so I wouldn't mind seeing him again. I've actually just looked. There's literally UFC shows for the next 4 weeks.
Wow.
Then I guess there's a summer break, but then it's sort of like I think it's like 5 shows in 6 weeks. And then there's another little gap after the October pay-per-view. And then that looks to be from the end of October, there is a UFC show at least every week between then and the end of the year, bar a week's gap between the 15th and the 29th for Christmas. So that's when it'll get crazy, motherfuckers. Probably not in a good way. But yeah, we'll talk about that when we get to it and whatever. And it's fair there's no bonus award for Fight of the Night, but there was like 4 performances of the night, so it does level out. Thankfully, nobody from Derek Lewis or Francis Ngannou got fight of or got performance of the night.
Acer says there was no bonus award for fight of the night, like you were saying. People on social media wanted fight of the night from Mike Perry and Paul Felder. What did you think?
It was a solid fight. I think. I don't know whether both of them got the. Let me have a look. All this research I'm having to do.
I'm just moderating the MMA talk for you guys tonight. We'll get into stuff I actually know about in a bit.
Wow, Perry and Felder didn't get anything. The performances went to Cormier for his win, Pettis for his win, Khalil Roundtree Jr.'s win in the light heavyweights over Gokhan Sakai, and then Paulo Costa beating Uriah Hall. The Perry Felder one was a very competitive, close fight for at least the main card. It probably should have got some recognition, but they both got in the region of $40,000 to $50,000, which for a standard fighter is probably fairish. Then again, Khalil Roundtree was only paid $19,000 compared to the guy who lost, who got $85,000. Thank God he got a $19,000 win bonus, everyone. Hyro saying, I don't know a little, I know everything. No, I don't. Like, I know now that I need to go to the toilet because I should have gone before we went. So stall, Owen.
Oh,
I don't know everything, you see? God damn it.
This is what we call the dead air time. So, again, full disclosure, I haven't watched MMA. God, it's been a long time. The only reason I even watched the Punk fights because it's just like I was curious. Like, I remember watching the UFC back in when it first started, back when we had like Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock and Royce Gracie, like Tektarov, and remember like the UWFI stuff. Basically, it's pretty much what UFC was kind of like to me. Don't really know much about mixed martial arts at all. So, I mean, this is basically Ashley's baby on this network. It's the reason why it became part of the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast when we were always talking about MMA. So we talk about UFC and Bellator and any various news going on in the world of mixed martial arts. I mean, it's not something I have any stake in, but I'm glad that everybody enjoys hearing Ashley talk about it because I'm not trying to take the luster off of it. It's just not something I'm really into. So it's kind of like I don't have any knowledge of anything. So I'm trying to keep. Surprised that Gracie hasn't done pro wrestling yet. Yeah, it does make sense. There's a lot of ties with the Gracies and pro wrestling if you really look into it. But El Jefe says New Japan kind of have the same rules like UFC because they don't get automatic rematches like WWE, especially with the championships. Yeah, no lie.
Unless the Young Bucks and LIJ.
Exactly. So, let's see. Hyro says, can't believe Chuck and Tito is happening even though Chuck is 48 years old.
Yeah, but that's like weird. That's like, I don't know whether it's a boxing match because it's not Bellator and it's not UFC. So I don't know if it's like a third company or I can't remember. And I noticed Hyro saying that surprised that Hoyce Hasey, or any sort of Hasey Gracie, hasn't done pro wrestling yet. Well, they saw what happened to Ken Shamrock, and he was better than him for quite a lot of the time. So it's like, yeah, no.
So, I think it is now time. Have you enjoyed your 20-minute, 40-minute UFC podcast we had a little bit ago?
Well, the thing to mention is in terms of other stuff, Danny Hodge went missing and then showed up safe and well.
That's good. I saw that vaguely.
Yeah, he sort of was reported missing Friday night. basically suffers from dementia, so basically he wouldn't be able to find his own way home.
Wow.
But yeah, basically he lives in a place called Perry. I think it's Perry, Oklahoma, so that I'm aware. He was found somehow in Tulsa, which is 90 miles away.
Wow.
Something I didn't know until just reading it now. Jack Swagger actually grew up down the street from him.
Yep.
And wrestled Hodges' grandkids. Of all things. So yeah, that's in other sort of little bits. Just so it means we don't have to cover them tomorrow, because I think we'll cover the MSG stuff tomorrow just to cover it there.
Makes
But
sense.
Fandango's injured.
Yeah.
A torn labrum, so he's going to be out for a little bit. You're not going to be seeing Cody doing a lot for the next few months.
I could understand why.
Arrow.
Yep.
Arrow is happening. So that's why that happened. And the one thing that I realized that I'm disappointed with in that announcement about the New Japan stuff, why didn't they call it the Volta Pyramid? Should be the Volta Pyramid. I want Volta to wrestle in the Walter Pyramid. Then we can just rename it. Oh, and they announced Okada versus Marty Scurll for All In.
Yep, I saw that.
Oh, and SCU is
SCU.
officially on the card in some shape or form. So we'll see. But yeah, we'll have some Lucha Underground to cover, some Impact Wrestling. The Impact Wrestling Rise show that got aired on Twitch, which includes Soraya Knight trying to hang Su Yung by a noose from Su Young's neck. Paige's tweet in reply to this being informed to her, she just went, typical mum.
Nice. Let's see. So we're talking about, Hyra says there's much to talk about, but continue the wrestling podcast. Acer says pretty much FA, and yeah, card subject to change. Do you guys think 227 might be another cursed pay-per-view card with potential injuries on the way?
Yes. That's happened on every show so far, majorly for UFC. Because, I mean, it's not to the same extent of the whole my old argument of Vince McMahon is a slave driver. But it's like something clearly isn't, whether it's this whole, because people prefer earlier weigh-ins or later weigh-ins, it depends how people are.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame you just can't say you have to weigh in on this day between like 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. So then you could have it to suit anybody and whatever. American Top Team don't mix with Impact Wrestling, especially Colby Covington and Dan Lambert. Yeah, but Colby's a dick anyway, but he's proving proud of that dick status. He was the guy that won on the last big show and has literally said he's going to go to the White House and shake Trump's hand just to like get even more heel heat, not realizing that could cause legit heel heat. I don't know. Colby just wants to do whatever the fuck he wants. In all honesty, it just seems to be weird. Even though pretending to be Pentagon, reminding him when CM Punk dressed as Jeff Hardy. I don't even remember CM Punk dressing up as Jeff Hardy.
I remember that. I definitely remember that one.
Oh, was that the 09 feud when he was like, I'm straight edge, you're a fucking addict?
Yep.
And that's which led to Jeff Hardy leaving and joining Impact Wrestling, and then Bound. Oh no, what was it? Oh, not Bound. Victory Road 2011 happened.
Yeah.
As immortalized on the WWE 24 Hardys documentary, which is also referred to as "I agree," which they had on as well. Sting just saying "I agree."
Wow.
All the agreements. So
Let's get into this.
G1 in San Fran.
That's G1 time, yes.
Yeah, G1 special in San Fran. So we started off with Roppongi 3K, including Rocky Romero, Yoshihashi and Gedo versus Chase Owens, Yujiro, the Gorillas of Fuck, and King Haku.
To be fair, Haku looks great for his age.
For 59, fuck yes.
Oh my god, that pile driver was nasty on Rocky.
I loved it when he gave Gedo the finger.
Oh my god. Here's the thing. Jim Ross, I want to bring this up. Yeah, Jim Ross called Yoshihashi and tried to defend it.
There was a bit which admittedly may have been affected by what happened to him in the match, but I believe Juice was called David Findlay at least once.
Yeah.
I will admit, on watching this, because I'm not in America, I could actually get a choice of the feeds and whatever.
Mm.
After hearing half of the commentary of the Jim Ross and Josh Barnett, I switched to the Japanese one, which comes in very handy for one moment later on.
God.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we will. I like the setup here for the finish. So Tongan Death Grip gets broken out on Gedo, and
He fingered him. He fingered him.
oh god, Tamatonga hits the
Like.
gun.
That's what it looked like to me because of the camera angle. It wasn't a Tongan grip grip. He's like, oh my god, he's fingering him.
Oh god,
Mandible
Tongan Death Grip
like wiggling.
into the gun stun for the win. As serviceable start to the show. Nothing really to write home about, other than the fact that Haku looks in amazing shape.
It serves what it had to do.
In the back of your mind, it really should have put something in the back of your head, but I don't think anyone was really thinking it was the way it did.
The great thing is on the international feed, after this, it just said, please wait until the beginning of the show.
Like, I saw that.
It already started, you fuck.
That's a thing.
So next up, I guess sort of an anticlimax.
Yeah. Tomohiro Ishii and Minoru Suzuki literally stiff the living hell out of each other.
But not for that much.
No, but it was enough to whet the appetite for when these two are going to go at it real soon once again. There's some nasty strikes in this match.
Yano did some pretty crazy fun though, with like the whole getting into the ropes as much as possible, trying to avoid everything.
And sure enough, Toru Yano comes in and gets the win.
Undoes the turnbuckle, and then just the brawl happens. Yano goes for the low blow, just like at Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
But again, just like Dominion, Sabre catches Yano's arm in between his knees.
And he locks in the clutch.
Tries to.
No, he had it for like a split second, but it wasn't enough.
But then
Then he got it.
Gets lariated by Ishii. And then Yano inside cradles Sabre Jr. and Toru Yano by his fucking DVD wins.
That was an interesting situation.
I'm still waiting because it's obviously coming up some point this week. The G1 press conference. Considering how last year it brought us Kenny mouthing everything is evil,
Yeah, that was
among
great.
other things, being scared by the shit of Minoru Suzuki. Kenny was as well, of course, and Okada laughing at Yano so much it's like Sen for the Man sort of levels.
Pyro wants to see Pimpinella Escarlita versus Toriano in a comedy match.
Or Sonny Kiss as well, who's now debuted in Lucha Underground and everything, as whatever name it is. To be honest, Grado and Yano.
Yeah, definitely. Why is that not
or Kikutaru and Yano?
Yeah.
You know, any of the sort of wrestlers that know how to do sort of the comedy style.
Even Joey Ryan and Yano would be fun.
Yeah.
Why has that not been booked somewhere? I mean, Joey Ryan's dead after all. Everyone knows that if you watch Being the Elite, but still.
Well, you know, Rev Pro.
Of course.
Rev Pro could do it. I don't know whether Yano's doing the Summer Sizzler.
So if you've given up on the wonderful commentary from Jim Ross and Josh Barnett, you probably did not hear the absolute massive putover for Adam Page. They are really trying to make Hangman Page something big in the G1 this year.
Well, yes, because one, it's his debut, and it's like they need to push him, otherwise people will think he's going to lose every match bar possibly one. Remember Elgin 2 years ago when he debuted in G1?
Yep.
Despite his size and stature, lost every single match apart from Tomoaki Honma, which he beat him, which meant that Honma lost everything. Which, you know, that is sort of a surprise anyway. But then, of course, he got the win, I think, last year. Actually, no, he was paralyzed, wasn't he? It was it might have been the year before that with the Elgin situation, but yeah. Normally, if it's your first G1, you don't go very far. I think Sabre Jr. won maybe 2 last year in his debut.
Mm.
He's going to win more than 2 this year, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, he'll be in the picture somewhere down the line. He might drop out like at match 6 or 7, maybe, but he's not going to lose like the first 4. I'd have thought.
Right.
Speaking of Page, yes, Page and Skull versus Tanahashi and Kushida with Taguchi, because of course Taguchi Japan.
Yeah, this is solid. I'm very glad Hangman Page got the win. I was thinking, I think we both were under the impression that he was going to pin Tanahashi, but being Kushida made sense.
Wow. Yeah, I thought Page was going to meet the pin. I should have realized that they weren't going to do the Tanahashi thing in any way, shape, or form.
I like how they teased the double submission too. That was nice.
Yeah, that worked.
They both broke it simultaneously. Buckshot lariat, and then Kushida kind of like wrangles back into the Pele, and he wants to set up the hoverboard lock, and then of course it gets countered into the rite of passage. There's good stuff here. I enjoyed this greatly. I like the team of Marty Scurll and Hangman Page, actually.
Yeah, they gelled pretty well.
Very much so. Then we get to what Jim Ross likes to refer to as a Haas fight.
Oh yeah, Goto versus Matanza. So Jeff Cobb.
Yeah.
This was good, and then it just ended.
Yeah, it just came out of nowhere.
It felt like it was gonna go somewhere, and then it was just Ushigoroshi GTR.
I very much another thing too. Jim Ross also putting over the fact that Jeff Cobb was showing a lot of Dr. Death Steve Williams in this match. A lot. And if he's using that, I'm telling you, it's a great idea. If they're going to use him as the new Dr. Death Steve Williams, I would have no problems with that.
I like the fact that Elgin was nowhere to be seen on this card.
Yeah.
Fueling more hype that, they don't get along. Even though, by the looks of it, they probably are going to be a tag team for the World Tag League.
Yeah.
It'll be awkward as fuck.
Got a good feeling Jeff Cobb's got a good future in New Japan.
Jeffrey Cobb. It just depends on the situation with stuff.
Right. As long as everything lines up, and I think it makes sense.
Yeah. That's the word I was thinking of.
Hyro says hoverboard is basically Shankly Gates. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but it ain't got no fucking attitude. Right. So then the match before the interval, which was brilliant. It was like, there will be a 15-minute interval. 15-minute interval. Buy your exclusive shirts. Let's all go to the lobby and buy yourself some merch. It's like, that isn't how it fucking goes, you bastard.
That's right.
She said, let's all go to the lobby. It's just like, you better not fuck this up. And it's like, you dumb fuck. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up.
Pretty much.
But it's coming home.
This is really good. IWGP Tag Team titles on the line. Young Bucks versus Evil and Sonata. This stuff's good. Every single time. Why was there a ref bump?
I don't know.
I didn't get that at all.
The thing I didn't get is how fucking terrible Evil's tombstone was.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
The thing is, the camera didn't even catch it. They actually did an indie taker.
Yes, they did.
On the Bucks. And they took out Evil with a gun stun?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Nick hit Evil with the Evil, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Or Darkness Falls, whatever they call it, or whatever.
Darkness Falls.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, like, LIJ were hitting the Magic Killer left and right.
Yeah.
So, good stuff here. Sonata got taken out with Super Kick Party. They dial up Uncle Dave, and, of course, Evil gets finished off. Here's the point that I'm trying to make. If you're going to build Evil for a singles run, don't have him eat the pin. Have Sonata take the fall. Evil needs to be built up.
G1 has got plenty of time to do that, son.
Well, of course, and they did really well with him last year too.
I mean, let's have a quick look at the schedule to see.
And of course, we've got Evil working that ready-made feud coming up with Chris Jericho.
I'm trying to see who Evil's got. Elgin as his first match in Block A. Tanahashi Suzuki, Makabe Yoshihashi, Okada Jay White. Why the fuck should I care? And Bad Luck Fale, Hangman Page. Oh, so right at the start of a G1 are we going to find out that situation? Okay.
I have a feeling that's probably already written in the stars at this point.
Then Juice Tama, Goto Sanada, Ishii Yano, Omega Naito, and Ibushi Sabre Jr. That's the first round stuff. So I think, Evil getting a win over Elgin, I don't think is probably out of the question.
No, not at all.
Probably makes a lot of sense, in all honesty.
Hyro says he likes, he loved the press conference for the G1 with Tama Tonga.
Yeah, he's just, fuck everything.
He's got a ton of charisma.
None of this fucking matters.
The Gorillas have they have their own YouTube show that a lot of people skip out on. It's really good. One Triple S says Chaos is really falling off now with Goto being the only one still holding a championship.
Yeah, but they had a lot of glory anyway.
Yeah, they did.
In all honesty. Plus, let's be honest, the titles will all change hands within the next 2 weeks.
They lie.
Because that seems to be what they do. It's like, you've had the belt for 4 days. Fuck off. We need a new champion.
Pretty much. One Triple S also saying would have made sense if Jericho would have showed up and have either attacked Evil or got out of his face. But no, because he respects Vince so much.
That's what the cruise is for, right?
Yep.
Well, no, in all honesty, I think he's showing up at Budokan Hall.
I think it's possible. I think
over
it's really
the August
possible,
10th, 11th, 12th weekend. Because then, of course, we've got All In, which obviously Jericho isn't part of either. The next Hurricane Hall show directly, if you take out they're not even going. Well, they are going to Hurricane Hall for some of the G1. The next show outside of that is September 7th.
Wow.
And then they've got Destructing. I always think when I see Destruction in Hiroshima, I think, is that a wise name? But there's Destruction in Hiroshima on the 15th of September. Then on the 17th, Destruction in Beppo in Oita. I think that's how it's pronounced. And then Destruction in Kobe on September the 23rd. Then New Japan Road, Gambaro, whatever that is. And then King of Pro Wrestling's October 8th at Sumo Hall. That might be where you see Jericho Evil, in all honesty.
That wouldn't be shocking at this point. Then we're getting into our next match. More tag team action. Jim Ross gets on the mic. He's on commentary, of course. He goes, every match moving forward is going to be a title match.
Is that just to rub it into Okada? It's like, you ain't gonna vote, motherfucker.
Then he pauses and says, well, except for this one.
Also, one thing to note, because I've just seen it in the notes from here. Fucking Suzuki and Okada don't have their themes anymore. They fucking remixed them. Yeah, they've remixed Kaze ni Nare and the Rainmaker theme. It really doesn't work.
I mean, Okada came out. He's wearing a shirt. He had his long trunks on.
Let's be honest. Considering, it's been 700 days or so.
Yeah.
It was weird to see Okada come out with no belt on.
Yeah, that's true.
Where's the fucking gold? Has he got Jeff Jarrett's problem? Where's his fucking gold, Jeff? Oh, wait, Kenny got it. I can take it back.
Oh, my
God. I'm
goodness.
still asking where my fucking gold is, Jeff. Where is it?
Let's see what else.
No, I'm not going to your show with Kenny McIntosh. That's probably all a scam for you to get more of my fucking gold and not giving my owed fucking gold.
Oh, Hefe wants to know about if they're going to vacate Takahashi's Junior Heavyweight Championship. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
We'll get to... Thankfully, because it's G1 time, there won't need to be anything happening until September, so we'll have to see how severe it is, considering how we haven't heard anything.
One Triple S says to El Jefe, New Japan is kind of like UFC. They don't defend their championships constantly, so maybe he can heal up in time.
Speaking of, I completely forgot that Marty Scurll and the Young Bucks were the 6-man tag champs until they came out with the belts during their matches at the end of the night. Just like, oh, wait, that title still exists? Because I don't think they've been defended in probably a month and a half.
Yep, pretty much.
So, let's hope that happens in Ring of Honor at some point, just to say at least they defended it. Maybe.
I think I know who. I think I have a good idea who's winning those never open weight titles before too long. If you based on what happened last night, but we'll get to that later.
Why would they want? Surely they care about proper titles rather than 6-man titles.
Just get the gold. Just get gold off of them one by one. Storyline. So of course we have our next match. We're talking about it. Jim Ross called him Hiromi Takashi and called Bushi Ibushi. Oh my goodness. Live television, ladies and gentlemen. It's good stuff, as always, to the shock of absolutely no one. So Bushi sets up MX. Ospreay cuts him off. Okada with the most picture-perfect dropkick in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
So they brawl on the outside. Robinson special. Stormbreaker. Stormbreaker looked vicious as all get out, by the way. Ospreay pins Bushi and wins. I mean, this match should have been a lot better than it was. I feel like they were kind of like taking it easy in this match. Obviously, I didn't see Okada because he wasn't working the show I was at, but Naito worked his butt off during the show that we went to in Daytona last week. And I don't think he did so in this match.
It was solid. It did what it had to do. You could see, though, that Okada was actually enjoying the fact that he didn't have any pressure on him.
Yeah.
He could just wrestle whatever style of match that he wanted. He wasn't the poster boy.
And that's the good thing, too. Pyro says, Ash, it's funny how people forget their belts. Like when Kenny did it, he was like, I can't believe I forgot the belt.
Yeah. I mean, he did forget the belt.
And then we get to one of the matches of the night.
Oh.
Dear God. Junior heavyweight title on the line.
Daryl's father versus Kota Ibushi wannabe.
God.
The really disgusting thing is we have to say that Dragon Lee is king of the indies.
Yeah, he totally is.
After this,
I don't know if I agree with them doing that.
Fuck all.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I mean, after what he did, he's the king of fuck all.
Yeah.
I mean, so I was saying to my friend that I was watching this with, I was just like, an advance warning. These guys do crazy shit. So, expect anything. Literally, as I said this, Hiromu's about to get in the ring off the steps.
This is great.
Dragon Lee, before the bell's even rung, jumps up to the top turnbuckle and bloody Hurricane Rana's Hiromu off the apron onto the floor. What the fuck?
This match, my God, just back and forth everywhere. See, this was the battle of who could German suplex and no-sell more.
Oh, no, don't get me triggered on that.
And there's that one mark in the front row that was starting a suplex
City. Get the fuck off, you cunt.
One guy just trying to get it started.
If you want that, go to fucking Madison Square Garden. You're in the wrong fucking building. Bloody hell.
So much good stuff here. Like, I'm telling you right now, oh man. So we of course set up the spot of the match here. And the
spot of maybe Takahashi's career.
It's possible
because there won't be anything after this. So, we sort of hinted at already as well.
Yeah.
Dragon Lee basically took a Kota Ibushi move and did it fucking terribly.
He did the Steenizer.
Yeah, but he deadlifted him and basically
Yeah.
dropped, but he dropped him, but rather than sort of dropping him top of the shoulders, making it look like he hurt his neck, no, he literally basically piled. Well, he basically
In
just
essence.
basically spike pile drived him, which means, he fucked up his neck.
And the bad thing about it is that it could have been avoided. It literally looks like he could have protected him a little bit better than he did. Completely. And it was like, nope, I'm going to drop you right on the top of your neck.
Yep. Planning goes out the fucking window.
But to be fair, just like when Owen Hart, which is of course my namesake, as you guys know, did the infamous sit-out tombstone pile driver to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and still Austin had to get the pin that night. Kudos to Takahashi for continuing the match, hitting a modified Canadian Destroyer and the Time Bomb to retain the championship.
That's the thing. That next spot happened. Then Dragon Lee picked him up for like a power bomb.
Yep.
Hiromu immediately countered it into a Canadian Destroyer from out of nowhere, and I'm going, if he actually has got a broken neck, how the fuck did he do that?
Adrenaline, maybe?
And then followed it up with a time bomb and everything, but Jesus.
And apparently after the match was over, the reports I saw was the fact that he collapsed in the back after the match was over. And that's when they sent him to the hospital.
I've heard that very much like Shibata.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got too.
As soon as he got to the back, he just went, oh, I better fucking collapse now. And she's like, that's fucking concerning.
Hyro says, even Mighty Mouse is a better suplex than Brock. One Triple S says, dude, Demetrius Johnson in pro wrestling, my God, he's so OP. I think WWE might want him in the cruiserweight division.
The really sad thing is he was the guy that kicked that junior heavyweight division into arse gear. It kicked its arse into gear, I should say. He was the one that led all the crazy shit that's been happening over the last, weeks, months.
Right.
Years, if not. And with him gone, it's like, okay. One, are they going to book Dragon Lee again? And two, can the rest of the roster deliver?
I mean, we shall see. So, and then, and only then, do we get to your semi-main event of the evening. Jay White,
Juice
Robinson. Finally, Serenity is mine.
Yeah, but the added rule, of course, saying that Juice couldn't use his casted hand. Otherwise, the referee would allow there to have to be a DQ.
I liked how they set up the Balls Mahoney style punches, and instead of the final shot, which of course would have been with the cast, he chopped him instead.
Yeah. So, I mean, this got crazy right from the start when White got thrown through a barricade.
They were just throwing people through the barricades left and right in this match.
And then Jay White suplexed Juice into the barricades so hard in the corner where the commentary is that Jim Ross slid about 15 foot and fell off his chair, which led to Josh Barnett, and like Jay White was mocking him, and then Josh Barnett just got up and got into the ring and like, and I'm not fucking around. It's like they get wind of the swearing that Brock was going to do. Even I think Jim Ross was saying shit.
Yeah, he did.
Being completely. The great thing is that there was another crazy bit late on, and I can't remember if it was this bit. I'll mention the two bits before I mention what happened, because then I found my fucking saving grace of this Japanese commentary, which made it just better than anything. So the first bit, there was some ringside barriers by where the Japanese ring announcer is.
Mm-hmm.
The first time we threw him into it, the barrier slid and fucking sparks flew. Legitimate sparks. So I don't know whether they fucked up a cable or something, because I don't think scraping a metal barrier on a concrete floor would cause sparks that crazy.
Probably not.
So I'm guessing it was some sort of electrical thing. The second one, the barrier gave way and smacked right into the ring announcer's knee. It was like, oh God, I feel for this guy. At some point during one of these crazy spots into the barricades, it might have even been the Jim Ross one, the Japanese I've got to try and keep a straight face. The Japanese commentary, and I quote, went, "Holy shit!" It's like, it was just like, yeah. It was like, well, I understood that.
That's
I understood everything is evil, which they also said as well earlier on that night. It was like, holy shit!
That's great.
Um,
So on that note, this is the reason why I'm okay with not being a Blue Man Group right now with everybody I work with, and I'm talking New Japan with everyone here. Stuff like that. One Triple S wants to know why T-Tan wasn't on the card.
CMLL maybe.
Makes sense.
They wanted a big match, and they know what Dragon Lee and Hiromu did.
Right.
And considering obviously CMLL is building up to, I think it's the 85th anniversary show. Which is September 14th. So it's probably, going to be getting to there. That I've got the big one, of course, for that is supposedly La Parka and Rush in a hair versus mass match. But hang on, I'll see if I can get it. This fan, save me. See if I can get the card from what happened. There's yeah, there we go. The Arena Mexico show from Friday. Now, keep in mind, bloody, I think. Oh no, was he on it? I'm guessing he probably was. Dragon Lee probably wasn't on the card because he got called up for. No, he couldn't have been because the King of the Indies was Friday, wasn't it? Actually, come to think, T-Tan didn't even wrestle for CMLL on Friday. I don't know whether he's injured. Hang on. I need to double check on that because that doesn't even give me a clue, which is useful. When was his last match? Oh, Titan was on King of the Indies. He lost in the first round to Flip Gordon. So that's why he wasn't a CMLL. That explains it, I guess. Yeah, I just think they didn't want Titan on the show. I don't think Titan might be having some sort of wrestling match today. I don't know. Maybe something. It is worth noting that I've just noticed on here on the actual the write-up on Lucha Blog, the archive version of King of the Indies is only $10 on Fight.tv.
Wow.
Which for the value is actually, I'd say, pretty impressive. In all honesty. It looks as if, yeah, Dragon Lee is... Titan isn't listed for the next CMLL show, but Dragon Lee is. Teaming up with Caristico and Mystico. But I don't see any sign of Titan. So he's probably doing something. I don't know. And again, the Mexican wrestling gets so complicated, especially with AAA being who knows what the fuck, as it always is, because it's that well done and well booked. And by well booked, I mean fucking terribly booked. Certainly, you know, it's a chance. Do you want to go through some of the comments as well? Starting with Highway.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the match first, obviously.
Well, Juice. So, yeah, I guess the nice thing is the referee got low blow by Jay White, which allowed Robinson to hit him with the cast, hit the Pulp Fiction, pin him, and White kicked out. So then Robinson went for it again, did a few half Nelson suplexes, tempted the Blade Runner. Juice countered it into an inside cradle and got the win. And the crowd actually went crazy.
That's right.
Because all the publicity that Kenny had been saying is, I want these shows to be more than New Japan house shows. Basically implying that nothing important ever fucking happens on these shows. Except something fucking happened on these shows. So I'm just getting distracted by Millie McKenzie apparently tweeting the picture of her and Pete Dunne at Fight Club Pro and comparing themselves to Nicholas and Braun Strowman. Yes!
Pyro says, finally an American champion. I swear WWE and New Japan US championships really have a thing for foreigners winning them.
Well, admittedly, there's only been 3.
Yes.
Kenny got the belt because they wanted him to be champion of something because they didn't want to pull the trigger yet on the world title. Jay White was the failed experiment. Then again, yeah, Jay White's been terrible. The match that he had with Juice was excellent.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed it.
You know, this one performance made me realize, oh wait, Jay White actually is talented and probably deserves more of a push. Perhaps I'd say more on a junior heavyweight level, in all honesty.
Mm.
For trying to challenge for the Never Openweight or the IC title. I don't think he's up there just yet.
Let's see what else we got here. This was a regular match, but there were chairs that were legal. Could have been a DQ in WWE. A reward for foreigners making it
to the main event. Where they went, oh, you're having an Extreme Rules match? Fuck off.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I am the table. One Triple S says the announcer has been a stunt man, especially when Naito messes with him. That time he pulled the cable off the mic of the announcer and dragged him around.
Well, keep in mind, look who's still got to come back this weekend to New Japan. Farley.
Yep.
The guy who attacks the ring announcer because they can never pronounce his name right. And then, of course, the most infamous one, Takeshi Iizuka, my favorite fucker I love to hate, ripping the shirt off the back of the lead commentator for New Japan. Nearly every time. He sort of stopped doing it now. But they still, anytime Iizuka comes through the crowd, they cut to the ring announcer looking petrified. Is it like, are you going to come after me today? But it seems like Iizuka's more interested in, I don't know, sex, something, maybe. I don't know.
Can we all agree New Japan and UFC are alike, especially with all the wrestlers having MMA background, post-fight interviews? MMA is connected to everything.
No, because the New Japan promos sometimes are fucking incredible. Some of the UFC ones are just overhype sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. When they did all the press conferences and everything, most of them were just like talking naturally. Kenny was just talking about, stuff without storyline. Juice was just talking about stuff. Cody was just talking about stuff. The Bucks were just talking about stuff. Hammond Page was just talking about stuff. Jay White, I'm too cocky. No, nobody is worthy of this title. And it's like, the idea is for you to get over, not like feel that you just like don't care about this position that you've been given, which is co-maining like a major show. Perhaps he'll be the guy that gets cursed by Harold. Harold's just like, this guy's fucking terrible. Get him off.
And El Jefe finally says, I agree, Jay White isn't that good. He was more impressive in Ring of Honor.
Because he was on the right sort of level with the right sort of people.
Yep.
I understand why they needed to take the belt off Kenny when they did, because of the whole Golden Lover situation. I just think it was probably Juice was a better contender there and then. But the problem is you couldn't have Jay White. And the thing is, it's like Chaos is a good group. They're a face group. Jay White was behaving not like a face.
Right.
Although, I honestly think he might be Okada. Because if you remember, when he joined Chaos back at the start of the year, he said there should be no leader. Don't think that I'm not a threat to you, sort of thing. And then we get to the TLC match.
Good Lord.
The thing happened.
This match was... They brought it. They brought it like they needed to.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely played into the fact that they know each other so well. They just kept countering and countering and countering the other one's finishers. And they brought out the ladder. And then we did the superplex off the top of the ladder. Oh, my God.
And then the Japanese table.
The Japanese table almost killed Cody.
At first, I thought, like, oh my God, did his head actually collide with the concrete? And then with the repeat, it was just like, oh, thank God it didn't. Whew.
And it's like Cody did everything he could in his power to try to stay one step ahead. And then in the very end, it was the one-winged angel was enough to finish him off. Cody really brought it in this match. I mean, a lot of people are going to say that Cody's run in New Japan is just kind of lackluster. I think he's actually delivering quite well. And this was a good end to this story.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the fun stuff. So Cody leaves, and Kenny grabs the mic, and that's when this starts.
Yeah, he basically says, everyone deserves second chances. Even Cody.
Yep.
Yeah. We may fight, but we're stronger when we get back together. But alas, he's tired. Goodbye, moi, and good night. Bye-bye. So Cody and the Bucks go up the ramp. And then at the top of the ramp, ready to two-sweet them and everything, are the Gorillas and Haku. Celebrating with the Golden Elite. By the way, Ibushi's apparently dead.
Apparently.
Or they didn't allow him into the country after seeing the YouTube clip of him getting run over nearly getting run over by Jimmy Havoc's car. Of which, by the way, he got his car roof even further dented in some wrestling match this weekend because he tweeted a picture of the car when he was filling it up with fuel.
Wow.
Good old Jimmy. And then Ibushi, I tweeted it, I think, or something relating to January 4th, or I might have put it in a Discord somewhere. I remember getting the clip anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It was a UK promotion, and he got fireworks and was doing air fireworks, and then one managed to explode all over him and nearly burn him. Because that's Ibushi. Da-da-da. Except then afterwards, the Tongans beat the fuck out of the Bucks.
Dear
and
God,
Kenny.
this is vicious.
They ripped off the Bullet Club shirts and revealed the firing squad. They're still BC, but they are now the firing squad.
The continuation of the comparison that old school wrestling fans make between the Bullet Club and the New World Order continue.
Hangman Page came out and it was like, oh my God, he was behind this. He gets laid out. Marty Scurll came out. He got
For
laid
sake of
out.
argument, he got a couple of umbrella shots in, though, before he got taken down by the Gunstein.
Chase Owens, who's apparently an honorary Tongan,
Yeah, apparently.
got laid out. And Yujiro got laid out. Then Cody comes in, limping back. And Tama Tonga hands him the chair. It's like, go on then. Kenny's down. You want your revenge. And then he attacks the firing squad, only for Tama Tonga to hit him with a gun stun.
Huge pop, too, when Cody used the chair.
And then Haku hit Omega with the Tongan Death Trip and a pole driver. Tama Tonga grabs his balls like he thinks he's shamoning, like bloody Michael Jackson for some reason. And then Tangaloa says, there is no leader. There is no leader in Bullet Club. We're our own group. This is family. And it's like, well, of course it's family. He's your fucking dad and your brother.
Yes, this is what happened. This is what WWE could have done with a heel Usos Rikishi group if they had the guts to pull the trigger on it.
This is what they could have done with like the Usos and Roman.
With Rikishi leading the way, of course, just like Haku. They could
The
have.
question is, where will Farley fall?
It makes sense for him to be with the firing squad, but I mean, they could pull a fast one.
It makes sense for him to be the leader of them.
Yeah.
Because obviously you've got the other one, the young boy, Tongan, whatever his
Yeah.
name is.
Because obviously he's going to go.
He's obviously going to be with them.
Yeah.
But then the problem is, who else do you have in that stable? Because I've got a feeling the Bullet Club might officially be dead, despite of all the merge and everything. And it's
That's
now
why.
going to become the Elite, which is basically everybody, even including Pimp Yajiro.
Which is
Maybe.
random as all get out.
And then the firing squad. Maybe.
I mean, I will say, regardless.
Also, it's worth mentioning because I remembered in this. When Brock Lesnar showed up in the video package for the newly updated and changed, they haven't got the short fanfare and rushing through it anymore. It's actually longer pictures. So when the picture of Brock showed up saying how he was like the 30-something champion, the crowd fucking booed. It was just like, boo. And then Tanahashi showed up and they went, yeah. Then AJ Styles went up and then, yeah. Like, and then Kenny, yeah. But yeah, everyone else, it was just like, yeah, polite round of applause. Or like just sort of in awe, like that person being champion. The only one that got any sort of negative stuff was Brock. Brock was booed the fuck out of. And this was before he even showed up in Vegas.
It's definitely going to be an interesting turn of events, and it's going to be curious to see where we move going forward. Like, are we going to have any new members of the elite, or are we going to have any? I mean, is there because it's
Something
not
I completely forgot about as well, which Hyro points out. Taiji Ishimori.
Yeah, he's probably going to be in the group.
I'd have thought so. It does make sense. I'm just having a look. If Kenny leaves WWE, would have to change Killian Dane's finish because they're the same. Ooh, the interesting thing is, from what I can tell, Dane's been doing it basically just as long as Omega.
Yeah, he has.
And to be honest, Omega can probably be happy enough with the V trigger.
I think so.
Because then Seth would have to change his finish. I don't know. I'd be more likely Kenny, probably. Unless they just sort of make him tweak it or whatever to be slightly different from Ulster Plantation / what do they call it? Dazed and Confused?
I just call it the Ulster Plantation. I didn't know they have another name for it.
I can't remember. Well, that's what Damo called it. I can't even remember what the... I don't know whether they gave it a different name.
As far as I know, they haven't, but they might have.
Let's double check. Oh, boy, it doesn't even mention his Wikipedia page doesn't even mention his finishing move.
They got rid of that on a lot of people's pages moving forward.
It's still on Goto's.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, that's what was brought up the other night. But no, they got rid of a lot of them.
We need the history of their moves. I need to know what the fuck they did for one match in 2007. I like one Triple S saying Haku's finisher is dumb. It's just like Umaga Samoan. Sorry, Umanga. Samoan Spike. I mean, yeah, but it's like people like the Mandible Claw.
Very true.
That's sort of the same. And a sleeper hold sort of the same.
Yeah.
Because how many people get out of a fucking sleeper hold when it's supposed to put them to sleep? You know, not very effective. When you think about it. Let's a quick look. Hyro saying they're the same because they both have to do a fingering. Thank you. This is now going to become a trend, everybody.
Oh, God.
Was Ishimori attacked? Yeah, the Ishimori wasn't there. Then again, he hasn't wrestled since that Best of the Super Juniors in any way, shape, or form. Apart from, isn't he part of Slammiversary next week?
Yes.
Sorry, in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, but yes.
So it's like he might be busy enough. Leo Tonga, we remembered. Thank you. Somebody remembered his name. We did get the Usos and Rikishi dancing together that time, but not the same. Yeah, the Hall of Fame is not canon.
Nope, never it has been.
Hall of Fame is never canon. Unless it's Sting saying it's not later, it's see you around. Or Ultimate Warrior. That's bad taste saying Ultimate Warrior saying I'm never wrestling again. Then again, I don't think even he knew what was happening the night after Raw and whatever, you know, in all honesty. One Triple S asking me, could DC defend the light heavyweight title before the Brock fight? That was my theory. I don't know if you heard it earlier. I think that match that's happening between Ozdemir and Gustafsson might decide who challenges DC in November at the Garden. Because I think that show being where it is, like mid to late November, is enough time for then a January, February fight with Lesnar if need be. They sacrificed Matanza. Wait, Matanza. I'm trying to remember whether that's spoilers for stuff that is happening in like 4 years' time, or whether that actually happened on this week's Lucha Underground. Okay, that was interesting. Oh, there's Mr. Spectacular. Oh, wow. Okay, so Matanza. I love the notes on F4W. Matanza beat Mr. Spectacular via death. Apparently, like, the bell rang. Matanza hit him with Tour of the Islands. Sorry, Wrath of the Gods. They're not the same, honest. And then Matanza looked at the skies, and Mr. Spectacular apparently just disappeared from nowhere. So I think that's what you meant by they sacrificed Mr. Spectacular. What a great job bloody Jesse Goddard did. And then, so I'm guessing the Johnny Mundo Jeff Cobb thing must be like probably Ultima Lucha. I think it's not even canon when the Dudleys put for a guy for a table. No. What was canon was the Ring of Honor match with Bully Ray. That's canon. That is technically WWE canon because it's blatantly going to be on a WWE DVD sooner or later, considering they've used other Ring of Honor footage previously. More than likely. Anyway.
I think that might be the show then.
Maybe. Yeah, I think that is all. At least for this time. As I say, we'll cover the WWE Madison Square Garden stuff tomorrow, hopefully. Obviously, recapping Raw as well, and the indie stuff that's happened over the weekend. Let me just have a quick look, see if I've got a sort of list of what stuff I directly have I can look at. Wow, PW Pondering's just died. As in, not that much important stuff happened. Nova Pro is the only stuff that they've got listed on there. There were a few UK shows from what I vaguely remember. Oh no, they haven't even updated that. Something might have happened at some point. Something may have happened. Cannot confirm it though.
Let's see. Hyro says, could we get TJ versus Johnson super fight? But would you want TJ to go flyweight for the title?
TJ Johnson would be an interesting fight. But I, to be honest, I think it might be the other way around. Johnson might go to TJ's weight. Because I think Johnson is the lightest out of those two. Johnson hasn't Johnson fought already in TJ's weight division, from what I remember. One of his fights was, even though it wasn't for the title. Hyro's randomly talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. I guess they want us to talk about it.
That's all you, sir. We have a review on the network that went up this past weekend. Yeah.
Also, it don't come out here till August the 4th. Yeah, unlike all the other like Disney films that come out a week before in the UK, right. This one we have to wait a fucking month for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, just so you guys are aware how some of the shit is actually behind for some reason. Let me look at my coming soon for one of my local cinemas to get a gist. We're getting The Incredibles 2 this weekend, along with Skyscraper. Just like brilliant. I mean, it's not brilliant. You know, Skyscraper just looks average. Whereas Incredibles 2 looks, and at least from the sounds for the reviews, including AJ, seems pretty good.
Mm-hmm. It was good.
Then 20th is Hotel Artemis, which is about a month, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, worldwide, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Because of fucking course. Then we get Wednesday showings for Mission Impossible 6. Why don't they call it MI6 and then just get everybody confused and say it's a Spooks movie? Only about 4 people will get that reference because I don't know whether Spooks the Greater Good even did anything in America. Probably not. But that's coming out the same day as Hotel Transylvania 3 for us. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp releasing head-to-head with Teen Titans Go to the Movies. That's awkward. And then the fucking Meg. Oh, God. Of course, the fucking Meg. And then we've got Equalizer 2 and Christopher Robin on the same day, on the 17th. Alpha, whatever the fuck that is. What is that? What is Alpha?
It's the wolf movie, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
Dog wolf
Yeah.
movie.
That's how much interested I am in that. Oh, yes, and Bohemian Rhapsody's opening. You see, Bohemian Rhapsody we're getting 2 weeks before America. At the end of October rather than like early to mid-November, among other things. But I don't know.
Let's see. El Jefe wants to know if we talked Impact. No, we'll talk Impact tomorrow.
And we'll cover the, as I say, we'll cover the Rise stuff with Soraya Knight hanging Su Young with a noose. Because of course.
We might get Brock on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Maybe. Be cool to have Moro commentate Brock's MMA fight. Most logical to, yeah, but he commentates Bellator. They do not cross over. They do not cross over. That would be legitimately like Jeff Jarrett wrestling on like WWF Survivor Series 2000, despite being WCW champion. They don't cross over. They don't cross over. The interesting twist, and I did like this fantasy booking from somebody, which totally got ruined by the fact of hearing that the USADA Paul entry wasn't until this past week. But somebody basically pitched, it's November 8th, DC versus Lesnar for the UFC heavyweight title. Lesnar wins, celebrates, and everything. And then all of a sudden, Braun Strowman walks down into the octagon, cashes in the Money in the Bank briefcase because it just so happens a WWE referee's there. The air horn goes, maybe, or the bell. I don't know. Somebody brings in a bell, maybe. Braun just hits him with a running power slam, gets the 3 count, and in the weirdest cross promotion ever, Braun Strowman wins the WWE Universal title at a UFC show. Secretly, I think Fox would want that.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It'd be like, well, I know it's 11 months from now, but it's changing hands. But that's good publicity for, hey, look, we've got the real champion on Fox this October.
GSP versus Wooly because Tyrone's matches have been boring.
I wouldn't be surprised as well if Lesnar did show up on the Rogan podcast to talk UFC, but then at the same time plug SummerSlam. Him and Heyman would be very good. Just for a sort of a frank hour and a half, 2-hour talk.
Right.
Hyro saying Aries not all in. Well, yeah. He's contracted to Impact. I think they're having enough of an issue with all the shit that's going on with the Ring of Honor and Impact stuff for it to get too complicated.
Makes sense. And I think on that note, I think that's our show. Predictions on Extreme Rules.
Hang on. Let's have a quick look at the card. Extreme Rules 2018. Christ, it's already 9 matches. Fucking hell. Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax. Alexa.
Yeah, definitely. Especially now.
AJ Rusev. AJ. Hardy and Wyatt versus B Team. Not B Team, because we already know that the plans are that Officer Payne are winning the titles at SummerSlam. Carmella Asuka. Probably Carmella via some stupid shenanigans. Bludgeon Brothers Team Hell No. The rumor is Miz is going to interfere in that, causing a DQ. So I'm guessing no title change there either.
I'm thinking at this point that there's a very distinct possibility Brian's not going to resign.
Ziggler Rollins. Well, they've already promised him. It all depends on the Miz Brian match at SummerSlam. I think that'll make him decide whether he wants to stay in the company or not. Ziggler Rollins in a 30-minute Iron Man match. I'm tempted to say Seth's might actually be winning this. Maybe. Although it does make sense for Ziggler to keep hold of it. But I think this is where Dean Ambrose is showing up again. Leading to something.
I think Ambrose comes in and costs Rollins the match.
What I'm thinking, though, in some shape or form, is the IC title at SummerSlam might be a 4-way.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know, Ziggler, McIntyre, Rollins, and Ambrose. Reigns versus Lashley, who gives a fuck? Seriously? If that's the main event, prepare to go to fucking sleep. Hardy versus Nakamura? Nakamura deserves it.
Yeah.
In all honesty. Because I am wondering. I guess the question is, who would Nakamura face? I mean, they could do a rematch with Jeff at SummerSlam, maybe. But it's like, who else is on the roster that's, I guess, Orton Nakamura? Maybe? Because they haven't done that yet, have they? I don't think so. And Finn Balor, Baron Corbin, again, who gives a fuck? Which is a shame on Finn Balor. It's just that is the abyss that is Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Fucking Constable Thomas. Yeah, I'm using your shoot name.
Let's see. One Triple S says, Ashley, don't leave us. We have so many questions about MMA. Hyro says, it'd be weird to talk MMA on Monday when it's Raw, but Raw's been crappy. High says, will we get a Sunday show for Extreme Rules?
Depends on Owen's schedule.
Depends. Maybe.
Keep in mind when we get to what is it, like September-ish?
Yep, middle of September.
That's when shit will hit the fan.
Yep.
Through to at least November.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, I might just do stuff on Twitch. In terms of streaming stuff. Get you guys over there to actually chat with me and talk about things and get my opinion on that shit. And I'll probably do YouTube videos to send people over to catch the archive or whatever. Even though it probably only be up for 60 days, so I can't be asked to get like so many gig of footage and get get it over onto the network sort of archived and whatever.
Right.
But we'll probably, when that comes through, probably some of the biggest points I'll probably cover in separate videos anyway. Like if we have a major injury or something major goes down on one of the shows during those gaps, there'll be some sort of coverage of it at least.
That's
So
right.
I won't leave you hanging too dry, but I want to try and do more on Twitch because it was fun, even though I didn't get a whole lot of people in for the Dominion stuff, probably because it was the wrong place to be. Maybe, I don't know, YouTube might have been better, but I'm just more used to it working with Twitch with the OBS setup that I've got. Mainly because I just wanted to do it on Twitch first because I feel that's more comfortable and better chat to sort of work with and whatever. Hefe saying, what's the deal on Lesnar? Is he on SummerSlam? Would make sense if DC showed up last minute. Well, we know that DC does like his wrestling. I would not be surprised if they had DC show up at SummerSlam. The belief is Lesnar is doing SummerSlam, despite they're doing storyline as if to go, no, he isn't. Nakamura versus New Day members. Yeah, but I think New Day's busy with Sanity. I would not be surprised if we get a 6-man for SummerSlam. New Day versus Sanity. Because that could be a very interesting 6-man. In all honesty. Who remembers Tito and Impact costing Chris Sabin? What, Tito Santana?
Tito Ortiz.
Oh, Tito Ortiz is a dick all the time. That one time when he randomly showed up and just stared down at the ramp, and I was like, "What the fuck? Why?" Did Robbie and Chelsea Green get signed? We won't find that out for probably a month or so.
Right.
We know that I remember that. Hang on, where was it? And get the actual thing. I had it. There we go. WWE reveals more names from this week's tryouts. So some of the names that were listed: Jake Casper, 2-time All-American from Duke Uni. The article noted Gerald Briscoe compared him to a young Cena, who he's cursed already. Chelsea Green, Terrell and Terrence Hughes, aka Devon's kids. Thomas Stintzman, who was Blaster McMassive from Shikara. and Thomas Sharp in Evolve. Robbie E 3.0. We're doing the auditions. Rory Gulak. So the Gulaks may be amazing once again. The former Ava Story from Impact Wrestling showed up as well. Wasn't she the one that literally got the bus fare all the way from like Alaska or something to go to the tapings?
No, that's not who you're referring to.
I vaguely remember Ava being in or around that time, though, wasn't it? Like in the last
She
year or so?
was. Yeah, I mean, she was, but you're referring to somebody else, the one the really bad Naomi wannabe.
I can't remember.
She was really, really green.
Terrence TJ Barner, who's basically been a football player, and that's it. So he's Roman Reigns. Burner! Gabby Ortiz, who's trained in the Ring of Honor dojo and has also done some Stardom shows. Doran Dickerson, who's another NFL player. And Nika Garcia, who's wrestled for WWC women, winning their women's title under the name La Rosa Negra. I don't know whether that's the La Rosa Negra that I've seen wrestle on some of the US indies. I don't know if that's the same person because they seem to. The article seems to sort of be indicating that, like, I don't know whether that's La Rosa. Hang on, have we got a picture? Oh, we've got the picture of the Heidi El Valley, also known as the British Amazon, Heidi Katrina, has extensive experience wrestling in Japan. Wait, so she's a British wrestler and has wrestled for Sendai Girls, where she's a reigning tag champ. How come I haven't fucking heard of her? Because I sort of am trying to keep track as much as possible of the English wrestling scene. How come I haven't heard anything of her? That just seemed weird. I thought I would have. Hang on, have we got a picture of the Rosa Negra?
I do want to mention Max Caster was one of the ones that was also at the Ford Center as well.
Yeah, yes, it's in there as well. Sorry, I got confused there when it said 24-year-old Omari Palmer, and I'm like, Omari did it? It's like, oh no, it's not that. It's not that Omari. Oh, Danielle Morrison, who manages Facade, was there as well, apparently. By the looks of it. Don't see any other names that I recognise, though. So that may be it. If I am... Hang on. Fuck. I need to go to Facebook to send Owen a photo. Because I've just noticed this. Owen, this photo, which I'm hopefully going to be able to put in chat, maybe. Let's see if I can put it in chat or whether the link's going to be redacted. I can't put a link. Not letting me.
Oh, wow.
Hang on. Oh, copy image location. That's what I should have done. Can I paste that? Can I post that? No. No web addresses are allowed. If you go to the tryout page of the list. The picture that I've just sent to Owen of Robbie E, it looks like it looks too much like Fandango.
Yep, big time.
And two, it looks like a fucking Photoshop. It looks like his face has been photoshopped onto his fucking. Oh, it's just like fucking hell. Oh, put it on Twitter. Hang on. Don't worry, I'll save you guys. Hang on, let me get over to my Twitter. Then again, that's also a cheap plug for my Twitter.
Of course it is.
As it turns out. Okay, I've just tweeted that up. The picture looks fucking terrible of Robbie. It's just like it's as if they purposely want to make sure that he doesn't have a career, maybe. I don't know. It's like, jeez. Oh, Ronda did fight in MSG. Right, okay. So apparently Naoki Tanazaki's been in the UK all this week, apparently. Not just last weekend for international techers and all that. Apparently Tanazaki's last meal in the UK, you can probably guess what it was, Owen. Cheeky Nando's.
Of course.
Nobody can get enough of the cheeky Nando's. Also, football is coming home, by the way. I'm going to keep saying that now, I think, every bloody day. Just because it's going to be a meme when we get knocked out in the semi-finals. Hang on. I'm just seeing what Doug... I'm trying to see what Doug Lackey just posted on the... Wow. Doug just posted up a video of Braun Strowman basically saying that 5 years to the day that he got into the wrestling ring for the first time, he was wrestling in Madison Square Garden. It's like an actual shoot promo from Braun Strowman, as in, how fucking lucky am I to be in this company? Roman's just burner.
Yes, Hyro, you are correct with that. It's 11 o'clock. I guess that is our show.
I'm not from Compton. England is my city. Oh, enough of this shit. Dear fuck.
Tomorrow, back at it again with the Monday Wrestling Popcast, talking WWE. We're building to Extreme Rules this coming weekend. Impact, which we're building a Slammiversary the week after. More Ring of Honor and other assorted things, like we're going to be talking, I believe, Lucha Underground, other things around the world of
basically it'll be Lucha, Impact, Indies, and Raw.
Yep. And then we've got Ashley joining us, and you can follow him on Twitter. That's where Ashley.
My name, okay.
Yep. Sip and Snack is coming back this weekend. I actually filmed one that hasn't came out yet, so it's going to be out before too long. Snack Stash coming back, obviously.
Yeah, Snack Stash and Gaming with Ash. It'll be one of the two, I'd have hoped, this week. Just got to wait for the news to sort of trickle in to sort of make sure that I'm giving you something of quality content rather than just trying to fill a fucking space.
Right.
Luckily, there's a few things that I managed to get cheap over the weekend that could do, including a thing which I might have to sample whether I can actually do video editing on my actual stuff rather than doing this stuff. But then again, it might bloody flag the video for copyright or whatever, or monetization. So part of me doesn't want to, but then it sort of epitomizes what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Or I might have to do it on my tablet screen and like it's picture in picture. Get away with it like Botchamania does.
Oh
If you're
boy.
complaining about the quality of the picture, too bad. That's what YouTube does.
So follow me on Twitter at Throw and Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network. Check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network. If you have any ideas for Sip and Snack or versus the other regular segments on this network, shoot me an email, throwandisney@gmail.com. So, as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more this evening you've chosen a Popcast. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
This still needs more fucking Dvorak, though. Dvorak!